Ladies and gentlemen, a few years ago, I did a video on the racist covenant that exists in deeds all across America. And I mean, millions upon millions and millions of deeds in America have clauses in them that says that the house can never be sold to Negro, African Americans, Africans, Japanese, Chinese, Jewish, Hebrew races, or their descendants. Or sometimes it just says African American or Black or Negro, and it really don't include anything else, just us being excluded. And if you live in a neighborhood that was once all white, but it's not anymore, chances are that racial covenant is in your deed. Okay, it's there. And it just goes to show you how racist of a country America really truly is. And this is not no long time ago, because they love coming back with that long time ago crap. So anyway, when Hampton woman found racist covenant in her property deed, rooted them out became a mission. Yeah, they said it's very difficult now to take that out of the deeds. It is just so many. So let's go on. Buried in the deeds of this couple in Connecticut was an overtly racist clause that has been overlooked for decades, that no person of any race other than white shall occupy any building on any lot, except that this covenant shall not prevent the occupancy by domestic servants. So it's okay for you to go in their house and be a slave, but you can't own the house. That's what they're saying. But you can slave around for the family and take care of those snot nosed kids and everything. It's okay to do that, but you can't own the house. So anyway, the after discovering the restrictive covenant, the Hawthorns, which is the family's last name, who lived in the house of mostly white Spring Glen neighborhood, divulged their finding to June Gold, a mother of Hawthorne's daughter in law and a retired math teacher, who were curious, and they did deeper investigation on this. Driven by a desire of social justice, Gold is helping the Hawthorns and other Spring Glen homeowners confront a troubling past by renouncing the offensive language in their deeds. Well, they're not the only ones. They said this is really bad in this country. You're just talking about one place, but y'all, this exists in all 50 states. Seriously, it exists in deeds in all 50 states. Susie Hawthorne said she consulted the deed for her home about 10 years ago because she needed to determine the property lines after removing a hedge in her front yard. While sifting through the documents, Susie came across a startling passage. I read through everything, and that's when I found it. I was shocked. The Hawthorne, they bought their house in 1985. So, because, these people will come and swear up and down stuff is a long time ago. 1985 is really not that long ago. Her house was built. And, of course, a lot of post World War II homes were built when many white people moved from racially diverse urban areas like Hartford and New Haven into surrounding suburbs. And, they called that white flight. The migration of white people into suburban areas like Spring Glen can be seen, according to a Spring Glen resident and member of Hampton Historical Society. So they see this stuff in deeds going all the way back to the 1920s. Okay. So, and they have this indeed in the modern day, which is, I mean, 1920s is still modern. Believe it or not, it is. It wasn't that long ago. And as Spring Glen's population began to swell, so did the demand for property upon which to build. The deeds for some of these properties included racially restrictive covenants, similar to the one that the Hawthorns had in their document. A restrictive covenant is a provision in the real estate conveyance, the limits or restrictions, the action of the person being granted the property according to the Legal Information Institute at Cornell Law School. Gold said her deed projected partially, it projected a partial interest by an affordable housing and experience with struggling to secure a place to live after retirement. Housing is safety. Housing is security. Housing is the start that everybody needs to get to the point of success. So, through her research, she learned that the properties in this area whose deeds had the offensive language likely were part of a larger parcel of land that was subdivided into smaller plots around the 20th century. The original landowner likely inserted the racist covenant into each of the documents, according to Gold. So, racially restrictive covenants were deemed unenforceable by 1948. Now, come on, y'all. Do you think they dropped this by 1948? Of course not. They couldn't have, because red line existed for a long time in this country. It still do. They're just now doing it quietly. But if redlining was going on, there is no way it stopped in 1948. It went well beyond that, and they know it. So they made it unconstitutional through the Fair Housing Act. But you know what? These people don't follow laws. We should know that by now. They don't follow laws. Even if they drop putting it in the deed, they're doing it without putting it in the deed now. Okay, but the revelations of a racist property restriction in Manchester, Connecticut lawmakers unanimously approved a bill in 2021. Modern times. Okay, that prohibited deed covenants based on race and allowed property owners to have the language voided from their land records by filing an affidavit free of charge. All right. So they said only a handful of municipalities really offered that to the residents. So, y'all, you know, this country has done, they have done so much when it comes down to home ownership and preventing us from having homes. And it's not just the people, it's really the entire government and banking institution and everything. Like I said, all of politics is surrounded in racism. And when you see this, you know, you are certain that is the case. And do you see how slow they are to get around to this? They are very slow. And look at all the years that have passed with these racist covenants and deeds everywhere. They said there are so many, it is impossible to get the language out of all of these deeds. No, what that does show is how racist America was then and still is now. And when it comes down to housing, things are still not fair. When it comes down to us, it's still not fair. You know, they give us higher interest rates, even with good credit. It could be you and a white couple, and you have the same credit score. They get a better interest rate than you. So they still do all these little shady things when it comes down to housing. But y'all, please tell me what you think about this video. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.